Hello, my name is Steve, and I'm a sea kayaker who lives on the Bold Coast in Down East, Maine. My partner and I moved to the village of Jonesport just before the pandemic, and really fell in love deeper than we thought with this area. It is Maine through and through, and you'd have to spend some time here to really understand what that means. And I don't think I fully knew what it meant when I moved here. But I do now, and I embrace it, and I love it. So what I hope to do with this series is share some of that with you. I hope to share some of the things that I'm thinking about, some of the things I'm working through, some of the techniques and paddling principles that I'm trying to apply to make myself a better paddler. Some of the things that I'm thinking about to try to make myself a better person. Starting this process as an adventure log, I want to take you with me. I want to show you the things that I'm seeing. I want you to discover them with me. And you know, it's not just going to be drone footage of beautiful islands. There will be some of that. It's going to be discussions about paddling techniques and the way I think about paddling. It's also going to be me just processing life, me digesting the things that are happening to me, the things I'm having success with in my life, the things that I'm bumping up against, because the seat of a kayak, being in that cockpit, just allows me to think differently. So what are we doing today? Just going to take a little paddle out of Beals, Maine. Just kind of skirt the edge of Moosebeck Reach and explore a couple of islands in the area. It is a really quiet Sunday here at the end of September. Yeah, fall, heavy, but calm. Some chance of drizzle, sprinkles. The weather.gov zone forecast called it sprinkles, which I thought was cute. So chance of sprinkles today up until about 11. Seems like it could happen, could not happen, but we are dressed for immersion, so therefore we are dressed for sprinkles. We'll go through gear, maybe, not today, but at other days. Might take you through what I paddle in and what I paddle with and why. But I'm less focused on making this about teaching you how to paddle and telling you about the stuff I take and gear reviews. I'm more interested in just taking you on these things. So yeah, inevitably we'll talk about the stuff I carry on me, the stuff I carry in my boat, and why I do that, and the decisions that I've made to take those things. But not today. Okay, we're pretty much ready here. Let's get on the water. Okay. Man, getting ready is the hardest part. Feels like getting started in most things is the hardest part. Once you're going, things don't seem that bad. Okay, first, where are we? And what are we doing today? We left the town landing at Beals, and we're making a quick jaunt to the east, around Seagull Island and back. Pretty small paddle day, 5 or 6 nautical miles. You know, something we would do before lunch most days, but today isn't most days. So I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room. Maybe none of you have thought about it, but I'm aware of it. And I'm aware of making a video of me doing it. And that's paddling alone. And paddling alone in a cold water environment. I don't recommend it unless you really know what you're doing, unless you've got instruction and training and coaching and safety equipment, and you've practiced with that safety equipment, and you understand the risks, and you've thought about how you're going to get out of situations that you might find yourself in kayaking in the North Atlantic on your own in any time of year. Honestly, they go out all year. Continuing with the thought of paddling alone, and really any time, are you dressed for submersion? You know, this water's 54 degrees. It's 56 degrees outside. The effects of hypothermia start really quickly if you're not prepared for them. So being really clear on what your plan is to dress for submersion, taking it seriously. Just west of Seaweed, I'm coming up on a day marker here that looks like an old ship mast in the distance. So you realize it's a day marker. It just must be beat up when that swell gets ripping. Try to get a little closer and turn around so you can see it. You might also catch some cormorants back that way, hanging out. Oh, there you go. Sorry, cormorants. I didn't like it. You don't want to say hi. That's right, I didn't get video waivers from them, so it's probably for the best. I'll come back to get your video waiver in a little bit. Seagulls don't care. They'll let you film them. All right, quick stop to turn on the time lapse in front of the boat in kind of a sketchy spot. So the lengths I go to for the shot. I don't know why I did that in a British accent, but there you go. Felt fancy. All right. Way here a little bit. Get a time lapse of that. This is our day marker. Put my helmet on my head. when I'm launching and landing. So that's why it wasn't snapped in. Don't worry, safety first. If I needed it, it would have been snapped in, but I keep it in my cockpit, and as I get in and out, it's got to go somewhere. May as well go on the head. Okay, here we go. Gonna make a line across the bay. This channel has quite a bit of current. You know, I've got one bay for a little bit longer anyway, is trying to empty that way, and it's going to squirt around this big island. But there's also a lot of water coming from Chandler Bay that's trying to squeeze into Eastern Bay through a couple of narrow sections. So as I make my way towards Little Sheep Island, across some of these areas that have currents, I'm going to pick a range. And we are lucky most of the year in down East Maine that there are lobster buoys everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a lobster buoy and line it up with something in the distance that I want to paddle towards, and then just keep those two things in line. And as I get pushed to the left, I'm paddling to the right to keep that lined up. I think a lot of paddlers look at something and paddle towards something. And that's a thing, and you'll make an arc, and sometimes you want to make that arc. Sometimes you want to go that direction. I subscribe to the straight line approach for a couple of reasons. Again, unless I have a compelling reason not to. Straight line approach saves me from missing my mark, or saves me from paddling up energy, right? Because if you think about it, if I'm just paddling at this house and the water's taking me to my left, at some point I'm gonna have to turn right because I'm getting set to the left, I'm getting pushed to the left. And on really big wind days or really big current days, you know, the last half a mile of your trip could be dead upwind. I'm talking to you too much, I'm not paying attention to my range. Kind of that buoy right there. Hello buoy, I'm close, a little bit off. Yeah, so what are your techniques? What do you subscribe to? Are you a point at a thing and paddle towards it? Are you a pick a range, right? And again, that's lining up something in the distance that you're paddling to with something either in the foreground or further in the distance, and then just keeping those two things in line, doing whatever you need to keep those two things in line. Or are you a set a rough angle, you know, maybe 5 or 10 degrees off your target because you've evaluated the wind and the waves, and you keep that however many degrees off of your main target that you paddle. I find the range the most successful. I also find it the hardest one for people to grok. It's the hardest for people to put into practice. I'm pausing because there's a ledge, a low tide ledge in front of me that I'm hoping the time-lapse camera is getting some of. That looks like it's covered in seals. Try not to flush them. They spook easily. I had a coach say, and maybe she was just pulling my leg, if you don't make eye contact with them, they don't flush as easily. I don't know. Jen, were you full of shit there, or was that a thing? I feel like the seals don't care too much about my eye contact, but all right, marine biologists, tell me, do seals fear cisgendered Caucasian male eye contact. Go ahead. See if I can spin here to allow you to see the seals on the rock. The lobster boat behind me that you'll see in here. Over there. Any seals? I don't know. Maybe there was a glimpse for just like a split second of you seeing some silvery blobs in the distance, totally flattened out from the GoPro camera. I don't want to get closer. They'll get in the water. They're fine. Hey, there are seals there, believe me. It's magical. All right, onward. Got a seagull eating a crab. Again, I have no idea if time-lapse is picking up any of this. I'm not taking it, buddy. It's yours. I don't want it. He's not too sure. He's not convinced I'm not coming in for it. Okay, he just put it back down. It's all right, dude. You have your crab. Ooh, second seagull. Seagull fight. Seagull fight. Seagulls are dicks. Seagulls are the bro chode of the avian world. Yeah, so another seagull came in, took the dude's crab, squawked, and the first dude took off. Kind of a punk seagull. All right, let's find a sketchy landing spot. Sketchy just because it's all rockweed. There's no beautiful sandy beaches. That isn't too deep. This all might be too deep. I'm gonna go up around the corner. So I can change this battery out and maybe switch the camera on the front of the boat to video. Yeah, I need to find a way for you to see what I'm seeing. It's a beautiful loon hanging out. Surprise, for me anyway, loons are in the ocean. I mean, growing up in New England, loons in lakes, right? Loons are on lakes. Nope. They're also on the ocean, which makes sense because lakes freeze. So they're on the ocean. My partner Wendy did a bunch of research, and apparently there's glands involved to extract salt. It's a thing. But anyway, loon's there. Hi, loon. Okay, pebbly landing spot on Little Sheep Island, just big enough to change out the battery. Place for the helmet. All right, we'll see you soon. Record. Okay, that's recording. Compelling footage. I know this is very compelling. Watching me get in the boat. Safety first. Just kidding. It's just a place to put it. If I need it, I'd buckle it. Wear helmets, kids. Drain the feet. Oh, rocks. Get some rocks out. Drain the feet. I don't know if this is a like my OnlyFans shot here. I don't know if this is a PG film angle. Getting a little racy, but that's how I get into the boat. I love the smell out here. You know, as soon as I opened the car this morning, I smelled it, and I thought about talking about it. But there's just so much going on this morning, trying to set up the cameras and get interesting footage and get on the water. But the smell is amazing. My partner and I call it the perfume. It's the smell of the North Atlantic. It's sweet. It smells fresh. Sometimes it's nice to not have a destination either. I think paddling is interesting because we give ourselves destinations just to create some structure, right? Today I set a route, paddled it, and at no point was there a specific goal, right? Paddle out to an island, go around the island, come back, but it could have been any number of these. Sort of that unstructured time. And listen, there are definitely times I paddle when there is a real clear goal, getting from A to B. And I would say most of the times, right? But there are also days like this where you kind of get on the water and bimble around, as one of my coaches, I think, stole from another coach. As it's not a very common American word. It's nice to sit and bob. Okay, meditation over. Here we go. Some final reflections here as I round Pig Island and get towards the last, 10 minutes of the trip. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed me rambling and sharing my thoughts. We'll do all types of things here. We'll do little trips like this. We'll do bigger camping trips, longer trips. Trips maybe more with that destination or journey in mind, that you might get less footage and more of me here. I want to take you on some of the rock play trips I do and the tidal current trips I do, and find times maybe off the water to share reflections and share observations. I realize not all paddlers do the same type of paddling. This type of kayaking is narrow. It's niche. It's not what most people think about when they think about kayaking, which is why I'm making the effort to highlight sea kayaking, and why I'm making the effort to, at least today, talk about cold water safety. And I didn't really go into gear or the things I do in that environment, but that's all part of it, and we'll unpack that. And look, I realize not all paddling looks like this. Most people's conception of kayaking is drastically different than what I and my friends do on a regular basis. That's awesome. You do you have fun. I'm really drawn by adventure blogs and content creators who do this type of getting out and hiking and backpacking and sailing, and they're out there telling their story, and they're taking us along with them. When I looked around in the space and realized there aren't very many people doing the type of thing that I conceived of doing in that space. They're definitely kayaking gear reviews and tips and thoughts and rolling videos. but I find what I'm drawn to in the space looks a little different. So I'm going to try to make that for you. I'm going to try to make that different thing. Hey there, we made it. Welcome back. I'm going to get that boat back on the car. I'm going to get this wet stuff off and the stuff out of the boat, and yeah, we'll regroup here once I have a chance to put everything away. We are all packed up. I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed trying to make something interesting, and I hope you found something in this that you liked, that inspired you, or that made you think about your process and whatever it is you're going through. Yeah, we'll continue to explore this. We'll continue to unpack this. I appreciate you joining me on this one, and yeah, as there are more of these, I hope to see you there. All right, thanks so much. Safe paddling.